There's a bit of drama going on after Mindy Miller stepped onto the voice knockout stage with In Color. And trust me, people are talking. Some are calling it one of the most emotional moments of the night, while others think the judges are leaning a little too hard in favor of country singers. But before we get into that debate, wait until you hear why many viewers felt goosebumps the second she opened her mouth. Because this performance wasn't just a song, it felt like a story, a memory, a tribute that pulled people right into the world Mindy created. And yes, some fans believe this performance might be the moment that pushes her straight into the finale. But not everyone agrees, and that's where the drama comes in. Before we break down everything the audience is saying, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more public reaction breakdowns. Trust me, you don't want to miss what comes next. From the moment Mindy began singing, many viewers felt something shift. Someone said the performance gave them goosebumps instantly. Not after the chorus, not halfway through, instantly, and that became a common theme. People kept talking about the feeling of the performance. Some felt that Mindy wasn't just singing the lyrics, she was living inside them. They said her voice had that pure storytelling quality, the type you don't hear often. Even on a show filled with talent, one person mentioned that emotion seemed to pour straight out of her, almost like the story behind In Color belonged to her family, not Jamey Johnson's. Even though she was performing a cover, many felt she made it sound personal. Another viewer mentioned that Snoop Dogg, of all people, would appreciate her storytelling skills. Someone said she seemed like the kind of artist who can take a classic song and make it feel brand new again. And honestly, that's exactly what people felt here. A lot of people praised her song choice too. They saw it as the perfect match for her tone, her style, and her emotional delivery. Someone said it was a great song choice, and another agreed, calling it simply beautiful. The reaction wasn't just about skill, it was about connection. Another interesting point many expressed was that Mindy has what they call a dark horse quality. You know, the kind of artist who doesn't make the loudest entrance at first. But in the live rounds, she's the one who suddenly takes over the show. Someone mentioned she is one song choice away from being in the front of the class. That's a big statement, and others agreed. Some viewers felt she has a real chance at winning the whole thing. They pointed out her range, her clarity, and the emotional weight in her voice. Someone mentioned she has a beautiful high-ranging country voice, the kind of vocal tone that can carry her all the way to the finale. Many saw her as the complete package: talent, emotion, stage presence, and a voice that stands out. And then, the comparison comments started. Someone said her tone reminded them of another artist who sang this same song last season. Another viewer mentioned she even reminded them of Lizzo. Not because they sound alike, but because of the way she told the story, the way her voice rang through the room with confidence. But not everyone was convinced. A few people weren't fans of the arrangement at the beginning. They felt the intro didn't land perfectly, but even those who didn't love the start still admitted she won the knockout. That combination, and mild criticism mixed with strong praise, actually gave more credibility to the reaction. It wasn't blind love. People were being honest. But then the debate really started when someone argued that another contestant should have won, saying the judges were biased toward country artists. And yes, that sparked some disagreement. Many people didn't feel that way at all. They saw Mindy's performance as a clear win, regardless of the genre. But that tension added drama and showed how emotionally invested people are in this season. Still, for the most part, the sentiment leaned heavily in Mindy's favor. People kept calling her amazing, incredible, fantastic, and a true artist. Someone even said she was stitching her way into the finale. A creative way of saying her voice felt detailed, precise, and intentional. Others talked about her ability to dive right into the story without hesitation. They admired how she didn't waste a single moment of her time on stage. Some pointed out how her voice grew stronger as the song progressed, especially as she climbed into the higher notes. They loved the control she had. Someone else simply said, beautiful, just beautiful. And sometimes that says everything. A few viewers also talked about the emotional impact. Some said her voice carried a warmth that wrapped the story around the audience. Others described her performance as powerful, wonderful, and even spontaneous, as if she wasn't just performing rehearsed steps. She was letting the music guide her. One viewer pointed out that her performance reminded them of old school country storytelling, simple, raw, and full of heart. Another viewer said that In Color is one of their favorite songs of all time, and Mindy delivered it in a way that respected the original while still giving it her own twist. Someone wrote that Mindy seemed like the kind of artist who could change the competition with just one breakout moment. Many agreed she already had it in this knockout. Meanwhile, a softer wave of reactions focused on how she made people feel. Someone said they got goosebumps. Another said she sounded like the full package. Someone else simply sent a bunch of heartfelt emojis that said everything without even using words. Some viewers even talked about how her performance transported them, like they were sitting in an old room with faded black and white photographs, reliving memories through the imagery of the song. That's the power of storytelling, and people felt it deeply. Even those who had small critiques couldn't deny her ability to pull the emotion out of a song. One person who didn't love the arrangement still said she won. Others who compared her to past contestants still acknowledged her talent. And then there were the people who weren't even trying to analyze anything. They just loved it. Someone said, "She's awesome." Another said, "I loved her performance." Someone else simply wrote, "Well done." Short sentences, big reactions. Many also appreciated how calm and collected she seemed. Someone described her as spontaneous. Another said her voice was ringing through the room. And one person mentioned her tone threaded through the music like a needle. That image stuck with many viewers. The idea of her voice stitching emotion into every line. A few viewers also mentioned her vocal strength. Someone said she had amazing vocals. Others talked about her range, her control, her steadiness. Someone described her as having beautiful, powerful vocals, especially around the 2:07 mark. One of the most repeated reactions was that she felt like a true storyteller. People loved the way she walked into the narrative of the song. How she didn't just rely on vocal power, but leaned into the meaning behind each line. Many viewers said her performance made In Color feel alive in a new way. Others said she had the kind of presence that makes you stop what you're doing and listen. And that's exactly what happened for many. Even with all the debate, the arrangement opinions, the comments about judges favoring certain genres, the comparisons to other contestants, the overwhelming reaction was that Mindy showed up with a knockout performance worthy of the spotlight. And at the end of the day, Mindy Miller's performance of In Color left a mark. Some people felt she delivered one of the most emotional storytelling moments of the season. Others felt she proved she belongs in the finale conversation. A few weren't fully convinced, pointing to arrangement choices or competition preferences, but even those voices acknowledged her talent. The larger public reaction? She's winning people over, she's building momentum, and she's giving the kind of performances that stick with viewers long after the episode ends. But now it's your turn. Do you think Mindy Miller won this knockout? Does she deserve to move forward? Maybe even all the way to the finale? Tell us what you think. The debate is already happening, and your voice adds to the story. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more public reaction breakdowns just like this.